Hi, welcome to the Artist Merchandising Team. I'm your crew chief, Caroline Isaacson. This is our morning manager, Wendy Beckman. Hi, and thank you for watching this training video. We thought instead of trying to gather on site and yell over things, we would do it this way. So when you're finished, please shoot me an email to rootsvolunteer@hotmail.com and we'll get you on the schedule. Then I think most of our team will be pre-scheduled before we even get there and skip the boring meeting. So thanks for watching this video. We're going to go over some general items here. When you arrive at the main stage sales area, please sign in and please be on time. If you're going to miss your shift or be late for whatever reason, you can give one of us a call. We'll make sure you have our cell phones that we're using on site. You can just let us know. If you switch schedules with another of your team members, that's perfectly fine, but make sure you note it on our schedule, which will be hanging beside the sign-in sheet on the bulletin board. So this is all happening near the main stage. In the mercantile area, there's a t-shirt booth, and then we're right beside that. We also do some sales down at the dance tent. If you end up getting assigned to that area, we'll give you more details when we see you on site. So, signing in, checking the schedules. If you change things, just make sure they're noted. We need to be selling the whole time the music's going on, basically. So some of those shifts get a little bit late, and we just need you to kind of be there until we're all shut down. So if you have an issue, just switch with somebody or let me know and we'll work it out. If you bring beverages up with you, please make sure it's a bottle that can be closed or a cup with the lid. We really can't have any open container drinks up there because there's just too many problems if something spills. So thank you for that. And we're really near the hospitality tent, so if you need to take a break and go get a beverage, just let one of your team members know that you're taking a break. One of the things that happens a lot in the mercantile area is counting. So sometimes you'll come up behind one of us and say, hey, and you're asking a question and we might go like this, or give you the eyebrow or whatever because we're counting. And so just wait a moment, and it's okay, whoever's doing that, just give them a moment to finish what they're doing because counting is something we do quite a lot of.
That is correct.
At the mercantile area. So it's not just counting money, it's counting all of the items. We need to keep close track of them so that we give the artists the maximum amount of money that they deserve. So it's part of our job to keep them clean and organized. So the office is a place where we try to do the counting of the money. It's really not good to have open piles of money out. It's windy, it's breezy. Sometimes there's not too honest of people around. So we kind of keep that office area way in the back locked down. Of course, you need to poke your head in and say hi or, ask a question, that's fine. But ordinarily, please don't come into the office. We need to keep that area kind of locked down. However, we know you want to charge your cell phones. So this year we'll have created a cell phone charging station for all of you, and the iPad will be in there and the charger, and so we hope that that really helps out a lot because we know you want to charge your phones up while you're there and there's power. And that's a thing that should be dealt with. We also will have a message board. Will be a white dry erase board. This is where you can let us know things, burning questions that haven't been answered, you can write it down. And then when shifts change over, that information won't get lost. If we desperately need more CDs for a particular artist and you've looked everywhere and don't see any more, you check the book, you see that they did sell quite a lot, you can leave us a note, need more, artist, title, what it is, and then you could say we only have 10 left or whatever. And then we could see if we could get more in stock. Sometimes the artist has more in their car or bus, whatever it is. As things get done, we can cross them out and then we'll erase everything and rewrite it the next day. So the message board will be a way for you to keep track of questions that you feel are really important, information you think we need to know. All of the items that we'll be selling will be in $5 increments. So that should help tremendously. We just keep we need more $5 bills sign up all the time, and then people shake loose their change. It's very helpful. When the artists first arrive, their items need to be counted checked in, the pricing needs to be confirmed before we can sell it. And only a manager can do that task unless they ask you to help them with it, and they know what information to collect, it's which items were brought in, how many, what the price is. That we will keep track of the artist sales for the artist the entire time they're there, and then they get a copy when they leave. We also use that to create a page in this book that's near the cashier, and it reflects the price. We don't bother with the quantities because this is going to be used to keep track of what we sell. Every time you tell the cashier, I sold one David Grisman, one Tim O'Brien, one Delamay, all of those were 20 apiece, and you hand them the money, and if you need change, they give it back to you. So it's not an exact science, but it's extremely helpful when we're checking out the artists to be able to go back and look and see what you all sold and confirm that there aren't any other boxes of CDs or piles of t-shirts around. Or if we don't see that they sold that much, we know we have to go look for the item. We try to keep the boxes that people bring things to us in, so because we need boxes to give them their things back, whatever's left over. So we do try to hang on to those boxes. Sometimes they bring things in their own container, bins, suitcases. We need to keep track of those things, and so we'll have rolls of white masking tape that you can put on the item and write the artist's name right on it. So we're hoping that all of those things will keep things more organized. One thing that is been sometimes a problem in the past is alphabetizing. It seems like a simple thing, but it's really not as simple as it might be. So we'll have all of the artists listed out, and we're going to show you how we plan to alphabetize their items in this book by underlining the alphabetized word that we're using, the designator. So here we have the list. It says Tim O'Brien, Earls of Leicester, Del McCoury Band, the David Grisman Bluegrass Experience. So the way we would alphabetize it is Earls, Grisman, McCoury, O'Brien. And since that's not always really straightforward, we're going to make sure that we have this hanging up so that you can refer to it if you forget. Might not seem like a big deal, but it really will help, especially the cashiers looking things up. It'll help you find CDs that'll be in bins, and it'll just keep us kind of on a standard. So that is pretty much all the information you need to know to just get started. We're going to go over some finer points right now, and remember when you're finished watching this video to shoot me an email at rootsvolunteer@hotmail.com, and I'll get you on the schedule and send you back an email. So thanks a lot. Hi, we want to talk a little bit about packing and unpacking items. The very first time that an artist drops something off, we need to count it all, and one of the managers needs to do that. So please don't ever just put things out. It needs to be checked in. We create a couple different forms, and one of them is what we keep for our records, this top one. And then we do another sheet that goes into our artist sales book that the cashier has. And so all the prices will come off of that first sheet onto the second sheet, go in the book, and then you folks have a place to keep track of what is sold. It's very helpful at the end, making sure that all of our items are accounted for. So that's the very first time. We do try to hang on to the cardboard boxes and so forth. Sometimes the artist brings things in their own containers, be it a bin or a suitcase. We need to take some masking tape and write on there and tape it to the item so we know that it belongs to that artist and we can connect them with their items at the end of the show. So don't throw anything away. If there's any kind of packing slip in there, maybe a mailing list, make sure you give that to the manager as well. They'll keep it with all the artist documents because sometimes we have to ship things back. So that's what happens the first time. Then we take the stock, the CDs, out of their boxes and transfer them into our bins. Usually only one artist per bin. And other kinds of stock like koozies, also get organized this way. And we also have taken to writing the artist's name on a little piece of tape and taping it right to the bin, and that makes it easier to find things when it gets busy. We keep things loosely organized in alphabetical order, and as stock runs down in a bin, you just go and find the big box of CDs where that came from and restock it. So we also need to create a display copy. We use these little racks out front to show the price. We take the little dot and stick it right on the CD, not on the rack, on the CD, and then that gets put out after you take the CD out, and we'll have a place to collect all of those CDs and put them back later. Sometimes the artist gets right down to that last copy and the person says, I'll take the display copy, and that's fine. So we'll sell them that if that's the last one left. But you want to make sure that you don't sell the display copy to the customer every once in a while. So it's good to have the dot on there that kind of reminds you, go and get a CD for them. So now we've done all that and we're just about ready to go, but sometimes there's t-shirts, hats, and we make these other splashes, price splashes, and tape it right on the item. We display the shirts up high, and it's a lot of fun. You'll have fun working in our area if you haven't done it before. If we want to really focus something, we might make a big splash if that artist is going to be on stage that day and we want to help them move some stuff, especially if they're coming back to sign their stuff later. So we've collected all of the items in these bins. Now it's time to close up shop. At the main stage area in the evening, by the time we hit the last 2 or 3 acts on the main stage, we're going to start putting away most of everything else. We'll leave all the display copies out, but we're going to start gathering up the stock in the bins and putting things right in these bins, which this year we're going to have, and we're going to have them in a letter coding system. So you can put the stock right in the bins, still in the little container things. And as you're putting things away, we'll have tally sheets. You're going to write bin A has Del McCurry, David Grisman. You're going to write down on there what's inside that bin, put the lid on, and when it's time, we'll be putting things in the budget truck where we store them right behind our booth. But in the meantime, if somebody comes over and wants a Del McCurry CD, even though we've put them all away, you can easily go check your sheet, remember which bin you put it in, and fish one out for the customer. But that way we're not rushing around after the last band closes up and leaves the stage to pack all that stuff up. So we hope this is a good system that's going to work for everybody. And in the morning, it should make it even easier to unpack the things and get them set up.
And put everything else back on display again. Yep.
That's right.
All right, so one of the things we're going to talk about is t-shirts, because we get a whole lot of t-shirts to sell at the merch tent. And when they come from the artist, most of the time they are packaged together by size and sometimes by gender. Sometimes artists will have all the same t-shirt for men and women, but sometimes they'll have men's shirts and women's t-shirts, and then we have to separate them that way. But one of the easiest things to do is to keep them folded in a certain way so that if a customer comes to you and they say, I would really like one of those Del McCurry t-shirts in a size small, or a medium or a large or whatever, you can find those t-shirts easily and get one quickly and not mess up the whole pile of t-shirts and leave a mess behind for the next person who's trying to find t-shirts. So if we have the t-shirts here, usually they're in a stack. We have a whole bunch of them and they all happen to be a size small. So we lay them down on the table, we kind of pick them up under the armpits and fold them in half, and then fold them in quarters again. And then you have all of your small t-shirts together, and they're easy to pick up. If I need to find the mediums behind it, I can pick these up and move them out of the way without disrupting all of those t-shirts. So again, the way that we do that is we have it on the table, kind of flat, pick them up by the armpits, lost one, then fold it in quarters, and there you go. So when we're displaying the t-shirts, we do have these splash prices. And we do have tape available, and we have markers and things like that, but we have a lot of these that we try to recycle as well. A lot of the t-shirts and CDs tend to come about the same price. So if you can find one that matches the t-shirt that you're going to display, find it, stick some tape on it, put it there. And then we have a similar setup at Gray Fox where we have some cloth behind us and we can display them by sort of pinning them up. And then it's easy for the customer to see what the price is of the t-shirt so they don't have to keep asking you. Now, occasionally things will happen and you won't remember, but then you can always go and ask the person who's the cashier what the price of something is. But that's a real quick tutorial on t-shirts. I hope that helps keep everything organized.
Okay, so when you're conducting transactions, the customer's going to approach you and say, I'd like a Gangsta Grass CD and one of those gray shirts up there. So you're going to go and get the things that they want and take their cash or charge. If it's cash, you're going to come over to the cashier.
I sold an American music CD, Gangsta Grass,
Okay,
and I sold one of these Del McCoury gray t-shirts for $15. I need $5 back.
okay, that's that. So I marked down the CD, then I marked down the t-shirt. There you go.
Thank you.
So as you can see, I don't need to, she already checked the prices. She figured out how much change she needs, and all I need to know is the particular item that was bought, and I just make one tick that I sold one, unless it's more than one, then you make several, two. But she's just telling me how much change she needs back. Then there doesn't have to be a huge exchange. She already did the math. So when you're coming over to the cashier, please make sure you have that straight. You don't need to do that with credit card sales. They're tracked internally in the iPad. So that's all you got to do.
But if it's on the iPad, you still have to come and tell the cashier that you sold it. So you have to say, I sold a gray t-shirt, Del McCoury, it was charged.
Exactly. All right, so thanks. You probably still have some questions if you're new. That's fine. You can email your questions to me when you email me at rootsvolunteer@hotmail.com to let me know that you've watched this video. And in the meantime, in the interim, please go online and look at your bands and see who's coming. Familiarize yourself with them the best you can. And after you arrive, the program book's going to have all kinds of great information about each artist right in here, so you can check that out. And we're looking forward to meeting you.
Absolutely. Have a good Gray Fox.
Safe travels!